Good afternoon, folks. It's time for another edition of Danny from the Small Venue Survivalist talking at you via video. And today I am wearing a Jim Fish Music t-shirt. Jim Fish plays with a band called Mountain Country. And also, interestingly, he plays what you might call mountain country, which is sort of this. It's a fusion of folk and country, and bits of bluegrass and stuff like that, and it's really pretty cool. So, if you're in Salt Lake or Jim Fish and his crew are where you are, you should check them out. So today, I'm coming to you with a little bit of a teachable moment. In just a few hours here, I'm going to be downtown at Gracie's, and I'm going to be mixing the Laszlos out on the outdoor stage. And there was a question that came up in prep for this show. The question was, should I bring my own PA front end to plug into their gear? And of course, there's as with any of these questions and with bands I've worked with before, there's a bit of background. So the Laszlos actually have their own Behringer X18 rack mount mixing console, and I've mixed a few shows for them with that system. And it seemed like it's worked really well. And we've actually had the opportunity to do a lot of dialing in and getting comfortable with their monitor mixes and just kind of their sound in general through that console and with their PA. And so the question here was, would it make it easier to record the show if I brought in my own front end? And, would it make for a better show in general? And the thing is that my front end is more flexible and has some more features than the X18 does. I'm running an X32 as opposed to an X18, so there's a little more horsepower, and also there would be the opportunity, depending on how we set it up, like we could have separated front of house and monitor worlds and stuff like that. But in the end, I was a little concerned, and I put the question out there to the group, does a little bit more flexibility on that side make sense in the light of us losing a lot of that work that we had already done in terms of getting their monitor mixes dialed up and things like that? And the answer really, what it came down to was that no, it doesn't really make sense to lose all that. And so Matt, the bass player, will just bring his computer and record from the X18 that way. And so the teachable moment here is that sometimes added features and flexibility really are not the most important thing, especially if there's a lot of groundwork that's been laid. As like with the Laszlos, for instance, if I brought my own front end, we'd basically have to start from scratch, dial up all the monitor mixes to everybody's satisfaction, and all the little tweaks that we've done to really make everybody happy with a starting point would get lost, and we'd have to recreate them. And that doesn't really, in this particular instance, seem like it makes a lot of sense. These gigs at Gracie's are, they're shows at a bar / pub, and they're actually really facilitated by being able to walk in and be about 95% of the way there, and you just need to change a couple of things here and there, but at least we can start with this this whole rig and setup that we know basically works. And we know that we've done all this groundwork that people are in the band are essentially happy with already, and we don't have to start over again. So that's pretty much it. That's the teachable moment, is that sometimes going with what you know, even if it's a little bit more limited in some respects, sometimes it's just a better way to accomplish the show. And in the end, as I've said in different places and in different contexts, what live sound really is about is it's about the best show. It's not necessarily focused on what is the best sound purely by itself. It's not necessarily focused on what's the easiest to use purely by itself. It's a holistic enterprise, and so you have to think of the whole thing. So in thinking about the whole thing, we're going to go with what we know. So cheers, folks, and I'll catch you next time.